Welcome, jewels of inestimable value. The truth is rarely pure and never simple. These words hold more weight than most can bear. For a Sigma female, the raw, unfiltered reality of life is not something to shy away from. It's a challenge she accepts with eyes wide open. She's no stranger to the brutal truths that many spend their lives running from, the harsh realities that most would rather bury deep beneath layers of comforting lies. But for a Sigma female, these truths are her fuel. They sharpen her instincts, strengthen her resolve, and set her apart in a world that prefers blissful ignorance. What follows aren't just hard pills to swallow. They are the ultimate reality checks, the truths that shape a Sigma female's perspective and keep her grounded when everyone else is lost in illusion. Get ready, because this isn't just about facing life. It's about mastering it, even when the rules are ruthless. Number 1. You can't trust everyone, and you shouldn't want to. Trust is a currency that most people spend recklessly. Sigma females, though, see trust as a resource that's far too valuable to give away freely. They've learned the hard way that not everyone deserves access to their inner world. They've encountered the charmers, the smooth talkers, and the so-called well-intentioned, who ultimately reveal themselves as users or manipulators. And they know that even those who appear genuine often have their own hidden motives. It's not about being paranoid. It's about being smart enough to recognize the difference between authenticity and a convincing act. A Sigma female sees the danger in oversharing, in laying all her cards on the table. She knows that some people listen not to understand but to exploit, and she refuses to become an open book to those who may one day use her words against her. Trust, for her, is earned through actions over time, not granted simply because someone claims to be a friend or ally. She's mastered the art of observing without jumping to conclusions, of taking time before she opens up. It's why she's often labeled as mysterious or distant. But that's a price she's more than willing to pay. To her, it's better to be seen as aloof than to invite chaos into her life by letting just anyone in. She prefers the clarity of a small, tight-knit circle over the noise of a crowd, knowing that a few genuinely trustworthy people are far more valuable than dozens of acquaintances who shift with the wind. This selective approach might seem cold to others, but for her, it's simply a matter of survival. She understands that giving trust away too easily can become a liability, and she's determined to stay in control of her own narrative, no matter how misunderstood that makes her. Number 2, loneliness is a luxury, not a curse. For most people, loneliness is a dreaded word, a shadow that follows them around, a reminder of empty rooms and silent phones. But for a Sigma female, loneliness isn't a curse. It's more like a VIP pass to the life she actually wants. She's not afraid of quiet spaces or the absence of constant chatter. To her, solitude is an exclusive club, one that she doesn't mind paying the cover charge for because what it offers is priceless. Freedom from expectations, noise, and the draining energy of shallow connections. Solitude gives her the space to think deeply, explore her passions, and sharpen her instincts. While others cling to social circles like a lifeline, terrified of being left out, she's sipping coffee in the peace of her own company, dissecting life's complexities and growing in ways that require zero audience. It's not that she hates people, well, maybe some of them. It's more that she's come to realize that most people don't offer much more than small talk and endless drama. She prefers her own thoughts over the empty buzz of those who are constantly around just to fill their own silence. And yes, she knows that this makes her a bit of an enigma to those who can't wrap their heads around why anyone would choose to be alone. But for her, the trade-off is worth it. In solitude, she doesn't have to compromise or dilute herself to fit into anyone else's expectations. She's not pretending to care about things that bore her or forcing a smile when she'd rather not. There's power in that freedom, and she revels in it. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's her superpower, and it gives her a clarity that most people can't even dream of while they're busy filling every silence with noise. Number 3, being misunderstood is a badge of honor. Being misunderstood is practically a sport for a Sigma female. She's used to people raising their eyebrows or calling her mysterious or aloof. But while most would bend over backward trying to fit in or explain themselves, she just shrugs it off. To her, being misunderstood isn't a problem. It's a sign that she's not following the script that everyone else seems to recite. She knows that trying to make everyone understand her would be like teaching a cat to do algebra, pointless and frustrating. Why bother explaining the depths of her thoughts when most people are only interested in surface-level chatter? When they mistake her silence for snobbishness, she doesn't lose sleep over it. She knows her quiet moments aren't empty. They're filled with ideas, plans, and questions that most people wouldn't even consider. To her, being an enigma means she's doing something right. After all, why aim to be predictable when you can be delightfully complex? She's not interested in fitting into anyone's neat little box, and she's definitely not going to water herself down to make others comfortable. People often expect her to spill her thoughts, but she knows that some things are best left unsaid. And when others label her as difficult to read, she considers it a compliment. It means she hasn't lost herself to the simplicity of conformity. Sure, it would be easier if everyone just got her, but easy has never been her style. She'd rather keep her layers intact, even if that means most people only get a glimpse of who she really is. The way she sees it, if you have to explain your worth, you're already talking to the wrong crowd. So she lets people think what they want while she keeps living unapologetically on her own terms. Number 4. Most people are driven by ego, not principles. Sigma females have a keen eye for spotting the difference between principles and ego, and they've seen enough of the world to know that most people operate with the latter. It's almost like a hidden game they're always watching, one where people preach about doing the right thing, but fold the moment their pride gets a little bruised. A Sigma female has learned that if someone's values are only solid when it's easy to hold on to them, then they were never that solid to begin with. She's seen people go from humble to arrogant the second they get a taste of success, and she knows that a lot of friendships dissolve the moment envy slips in. The reality is most people can't resist the urge to put themselves on a pedestal, even if it means stepping over others to do it. That's why she's not easily impressed by those grand speeches about integrity and loyalty. She knows that true character is tested when no one's looking, and a lot of people fail that test. It's not that she's cynical, it's that she's observant. She knows that ego makes people do strange things like turn their backs on friends or throw their own principles out the window just to look good. To a Sigma female, a strong character is a lot more valuable than a big ego, even if the latter gets more attention in the short run. She's more interested in those who live by their principles, not just talk about them. And because she operates with this perspective, she's not easily swayed by flattery or the performative kindness that some people use to mask their true intentions. She's got no time for those who are slaves to their own egos, and she knows that standing by her principles, even when it's tough, sets her apart from the crowd. Number 5. The world is not here to save you, it's here to test you. Sigma females know that real peace isn't some cute Instagrammable moment with a cup of tea. It's the ability to be unbothered by chaos swirling around them. Life throws curveballs, people act up, and drama finds its way to everyone's doorstep sooner or later. But while many get swept up in the noise, a Sigma female has mastered the art of staying calm, even when everything around her feels like it's on fire. She's learned that reacting to every little thing is like letting life take the wheel while she sits in the back seat. It's not that she doesn't care, or that she's pretending to be above it all. She just knows that peace is too expensive to trade for petty arguments or pointless battles. She's seen people lose sleep over gossip, relationships break down over trivial misunderstandings, and egos clash over things that won't matter in a week. She knows that most drama is just a distraction in disguise, and she's not about to let it rob her of her time or energy. So when others are losing their cool, she keeps hers with a kind of quiet defiance. She's the type who can keep a straight face when someone tries to push her buttons, knowing that their attempts at stirring her up are more about them than they are about her. She doesn't need to match their energy. She'd rather stay focused on what actually matters to her. And when someone tries to drag her into their mess, she's quick to draw her boundaries, leaving them to wonder why their usual tactics didn't work. She's not interested in fighting every battle, especially when she knows that some of them just aren't worth it. Instead, she chooses to guard her peace like a secret treasure. knowing that true power comes from not letting the outside world dictate her inner state. Number 6. Comfort zones are death traps in disguise. Sigma females have a way of accepting that life isn't always going to play fair, and they don't waste time waiting for it to start. They know that sometimes, despite all the hard work, all the late nights, and every ounce of effort, things still don't go their way. It's frustrating, sure, but she's learned that life doesn't hand out trophies for effort alone. While some might rage against the unfairness or fall into a pity party, she chooses to keep moving forward, even when the deck feels stacked against her. She understands that life is a mix of skill, timing, and plain luck, and not everyone gets the same share of it. But instead of whining about it, she adapts. She knows that sulking over what she deserves but didn't get is a one-way ticket to nowhere. Instead, she focuses on what she can control, her mindset, her next move, and how she'll bounce back from the latest curveball. It's not about rolling over and taking whatever comes her way. It's about knowing when to change tactics and when to walk away with her head held high. She's seen enough people get paralyzed by disappointment, unable to let go of how things should have been. But she refuses to get stuck in the fantasy of what's fair. She'd rather face the uncomfortable truths and deal with them head-on, adjusting her plans and goals as needed. It's not always pretty, but she'd rather face reality than live in denial. And yes, she gets that it might make her seem a little too blunt or even cold, but that's fine by her. She's not interested in the comfort of sugar-coated lies. She's more interested in facing life as it is, not as she wishes it to be. That's why, when others are busy complaining about life's unfairness, she's already a few steps ahead, planning her next move. Number 7. People don't want the truth, they want validation. Sigma. Females know that not everyone is meant to stay in their lives forever, and they've made peace with it. They've learned that some people are just passing through, and clinging to them is like trying to hold on to sand. It slips right through your fingers. It's not that they're heartless or don't care deeply. It's just that they've accepted that relationships, friendships, and even family connections can be temporary, and that's okay. They're not the type to beg someone to stay because they know that if someone truly values them, they won't need convincing. This understanding gives them a certain strength that others find hard to grasp. While some are desperately trying to keep every person they meet close, she's fine with letting people walk away if they want to. She knows that not everyone is equipped to handle her depth or appreciate the way she sees the world. And she's learned that forcing connections is like trying to squeeze juice from a dried-out lemon. No matter how hard you try, it's just not going to give you what you want. This doesn't mean she doesn't feel the loss when people leave her life, but she knows it's all part of the deal. People change, circumstances shift, and sometimes you just outgrow each other. Instead of resisting this reality, she focuses on the ones who stay and add real value to her life. She's not bitter or jaded, she's just realistic. She doesn't hold on to resentment or keep a running tally of who left and who stayed. She knows that everyone has their own path, and sometimes those paths diverge, and that's just how it goes. She's learned to let go with grace, knowing that making space for the right people often means saying goodbye to the wrong ones. And she's okay with that, because she values authenticity over quantity every single time. Bonus point. Time is the most important currency, spend it wisely. Time is the most ruthless currency, spend it wisely, or risk going broke in life's pointless drama. Sigma females are savvy investors in this game, treating every second like it's a rare gem. They don't waste their time on meaningless conversations or the flavor of the month crowd. If a conversation doesn't spark joy or fuel their growth, they're out faster than you can say small talk. Imagine trying to engage a Sigma female in a gossip session. Good luck. She'd rather watch paint dry than dive into a sea of trivial chatter. Instead, she surrounds herself with people who challenge her, inspire her, and maybe even make her laugh until her sides hurt. She knows that life's too short for half-baked relationships and time wasters. So if you're not bringing something valuable to the table, don't be surprised if she gracefully exits stage left. It's not that she's heartless, she just knows that her time is too precious to spend on anything less than extraordinary. In her eyes, life is like a high-stakes game show, and she's determined to make every second count. So, step aside with your drama and distractions. This Sigma female has places to go, goals to crush, and a fabulous life to build. Life for a Sigma female isn't about following the same path everyone else does. It's about embracing the uncharted territory, even when it's lonely and full of challenges. She knows that accepting harsh truths about life, like being misunderstood or letting go of people who no longer fit, is part of what makes her resilient. She's not afraid to face reality with open eyes, even when it's messy or unfair, because she'd rather confront the world as it is than get lost in comforting illusions. It's this strength and clarity that set her apart, allowing her to navigate life with a sense of purpose that few can match. Her refusal to compromise who she is makes her a force to be reckoned with, and she's unapologetically herself in every moment. In a world that often values appearances over substance, she remains a reminder that true power lies in accepting life's brutal truths and using them as fuel to keep moving forward. For her, it's never about fitting in. It's about owning every part of her journey, the good, the bad, and everything in between. And that's exactly what makes her so unforgettable. If you've enjoyed diving into the extraordinary world of Sigma females and want more content that challenges the ordinary, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join our amazing community where we explore the untold truths of life with humor and insight. Whether you're here for the powerful insights, the laughs, or simply to embrace your unique journey, there's always something exciting waiting for you. Don't miss out on the adventure. Subscribe now, and let's continue this incredible journey together. Your next favorite video is just a click away. Thanks for watching, Jules. See you in the next video. Bye for now, and stay blessed.